Hello family and friends, I'm Steward Godwin Jornsen and I'm the lead pastor of In His Name Bible Church. Now, one of the things that I love so much is the media and how to reach and take the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ to people around the world through electronic media and technology. And the project that you and I will be working together on right now is setting up church internet television network. What I mean is that we want you to see the internet as a world of its own and how you can begin to broadcast your church media, your church video, messages and services and in videos on demand to your members, to people who are interested in listening to you preach the gospel, so that in fulfilling the commission of the Lord Jesus Christ, we will take the gospel of Jesus all over the world. Our ministry is called In His Name Bible Church. Beyond the walls of the church and beyond denomination, we take pleasure in seeing people who are preaching the gospel in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and reaching out. And that's the reason we are bringing this knowledge to you and extending it to you, some of which you might know and some of which you probably will be knowing for the very first time. Now, you'll be going with me in this one. It's going to be a project that will be achievable by even small churches and small organizations. Now, take it from me when I say that this can even profit people outside the church. But beyond that, people and denominations that are even larger and bigger can take advantage of the information that I'll be sharing throughout this course. I'll be having these videos posted on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe to it. Yes, I know the YouTube channel is a mixed content of so many other things in it. It's a YouTube channel I prefer to use. So yes, you will find some content in the YouTube channel that are not directly associated with this one. But as you continue, we will be putting a lot more in that channel, even beyond what we are talking about. In this case, we are setting up a church internet television network. I mean, your church taking advantage of everything which it can gain in taking the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ to people through the internet. Here are some of the things in which I think you would need. For smaller churches and smaller organizations that cannot afford the huge cameras, I will want you to use your phone. Your mobile phone, yes, your mobile phone. I'll be showing you how to use your mobile phone in the whole of this project, both for your live and for your recorded media. And I'm also going to come up later to show you how to perhaps even edit those videos and create montages quick and easy, even when you do not know how to use very complex programs. If editing your video is a very big challenge, maybe perhaps I show you some programs with which you can use in your mobile phone to edit those same videos and deploy them to your system. But you are going to also need a laptop. You will need a laptop and you will need an internet device, a modem internet device. That internet device, I will recommend that you look for any of the unlimited plans. There are unlimited plans that will keep you on the internet for longer than you will expect. The Intel, for example, has that unlimited plan. And there are many more unlimited plans you can subscribe for. Perhaps as we go, we might give you recommendations of which plans you can use to have the most out of your internet subscription. Talking about the laptops, you could pick up any brand of laptop. That could be HP or Dell, Asus, Lenovo, or whichever laptop is your preference. I'm more concerned about the spec. But if you ask me for a brand, I would say if you can afford it, go for an Alienware. But if you can't afford an Alienware, well, here are some of the specs that I would want you to consider when you are picking your laptops. For big organizations, watch out for the setups that we will be doing that will involve up to 3 computers together. But for those of you who can't go through the stress of putting together those multiple networks and computers, one system should do your job for the start. So, you will need a system with a very good RAM. Yes, of course, you go for 8 GB RAM to 16 GB of memory. That will do pretty good if you can afford that. Try to avoid very low RAM computers. And for your processor, I would recommend that you go for a Core i7. That's about what I can recommend. But if you have a Core i5, fine, it will still hold. Core i3, we can make do with that. But if you're thinking about a good purchase of graphic processor, please look out for a processor, for a 4-core processor, a quad processor, 4 cores. That will do you much good than just a dual-core processor. Now let's talk about hard drive. You're going to need a lot of storage space because you'll be storing plenty of videos that you'll be deploying. So storage space is important. In fact, it is a necessity. You will need to have storage space. But I wouldn't want you, at this point in time, if you're setting your system up, to go buy yourself the usual hard disk drive. I mean those magnetic drives with the spindle. I would recommend that you go for an SSD drive, a solid state drive. That's what I use on all of my systems right now. Go for a system that has a solid state drive. Even your very laptop right now, you can replace the drive. You can get a solid state drive and then take out whatever drive you have in there, put it in an external enclosure, and use the solid state drive in your system. You will see the massive difference this will make in your computer. You will need at least a minimum of 512 GB of storage space. Yeah. If you can afford a terabyte or 2 terabytes, you're even better off. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for everyone out there to be able to do something. Meaning that even when your church cannot afford sophisticated equipment, you can do something. At least go for a graphic card with about 2 GB memory. If you can't get a 2 GB memory for your graphic card, settle for a 1 GB memory graphic card. But please, 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 unless you already own a laptop, if you're going to buy a system and you want to use it for this project, try as much as you can to avoid those laptops that do not have dedicated memories. You have NVIDIA, Intel graphics, or ACI, that is AMD graphics, AMD Radeon. Any of these 3 graphic cards will work well for you. My favorite is the NVIDIA graphic card with 2 GB or above that has CUDA supports. The graphic card that supports studio driver, not the game-ready driver. Go for that supports the studio driver, not the game-ready driver. The reason is because if you're going to use programs like Premiere Pro later, you might start having challenges because the most recent version of Premiere Pro works with NVIDIA drivers that have support for the studio driver much more than those ones that have support for the game-ready drivers. The Radeon drivers actually have OpenCL. Go for them. They have their GPU built into the processor. They do well too. And I have a couple of systems out there that actually use the Radeon driver, and I have another Dell that uses the NVIDIA driver with CUDA. Now, one of my other systems doesn't use any of this. It uses the Intel driver and it did work pretty well. The Intel drivers also has what is called the QuickSync, Intel QuickSync. So, what about your preference could be? As long as there is a dedicated memory in your graphic card, you're very well good to go. Now, I have taken time to introduce and to let you know these recommendations and these system recommendations. Remember, you will need all of these. If you're using a hardware camera, then you're going to need a capture device. There are expensive capture devices there like the Blackmagic Shuttle. Now there are several other devices out there. EasyCam seems to have made a couple of very affordable video capture devices. If you're still confused, then talk to me. I'll probably be able to give you some advice on what to go for based on your peculiar situation. Okay, now let's talk about the software that we will need to set things up. I've talked about a couple of software that could be very helpful here, ranging from things like vMix that has a trial version to Wirecast, XSplit. There are a whole lot of them out there. But then I suddenly decided to settle for something that is absolutely free. Open Broadcasting Software, OBS. I've been using that for a while right now, up to this moment, and the reason is because I wouldn't want you to start out going to look out for cracks and pirates and torrents to use to preach the truth. I want you to leverage on what is available. It's free. And there's a vast community out there backing OBS up, working, and they create updates, upgrades, bug fixes almost every time. So take it from me, it works. Where you might want to have challenges, how to schedule your airing programs and all that. I'll give you a workaround on that in terms of what you can do to organize your event schedule in case you want to have a 24-hour broadcast and push them out on the stream on a 24-hour base. I'll give you the advice on that, what to do and how to get that locally set up without expensive software, leveraging on what you have and some free software out there. At the same time, I'm going to show you how to use any of the free available editing software to do simple cuts and trims and transitions and fades. So you can walk and not feel the pain of breaking the bank or going beyond or out of your budget to be able to have this service going. Now you remember, you can support this project because I'm putting this project out for you out there. And I have a very peculiar challenge right now. I have absolutely no power supply from PhD despite being an owner of a prepaid meter, paying faithfully to PhD. And this is getting to the 5th month already. All of these projects, I'm going to be running them, powering generators and my plans and all that repeatedly till I am done. So I hope I don't get bored along the way when it becomes very strenuous and then decide to quit it halfway and then we don't have this fun. I really love you to take the gospel of Jesus Christ across the world. And the internet is how you can do it right now. We don't want a repeat of the situations that happened during the pandemic where something peculiar happened and then everybody began to figure out how to stay in touch with their members and their people and how to still preach the gospel in such a situation. I believe that before that ever happens, we can gain knowledge right now.